Jimmy's Jam Box. Keep jamming. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jam Box. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. With that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
What's up, everybody? My name is Callista J. I'm a performing artist.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're from, what you do, give us that like Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
All right. I talked to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, Callista J. Born and raised in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, actually, if you pull the mic just a little bit more towards me. Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Callista J. Portland, Oregon. I'm born and raised here. I started applying my writing to rap and songwriting, I guess like 5 years ago, and now I'm finally ready to like release my music.
Oh, exciting. Now, by applying your writing to rap, does that mean like, were you primarily a writer in the beginning?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I wrote lyrics and kept them in notebooks and in my head since I was really, really young.
Okay.
And I don't think I ever had the courage to figure out what it takes to record.
Gotcha.
And I finally like did the jump, and now I'm doing the jump and doing performances. So I kind of had to figure out how to do that. You know, that whole process.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely when you first get into it, it seems so overwhelming because there's just there's so many opportunities and like options and routes and like ways to do it.
Yeah.
What was that first moment that like made you decide you wanted to do it?
I guess like 6 years ago, I started writing really crazy, and I just like couldn't stop writing. Mm-hmm. And whenever I did write lyrics, I always had melodies and things like that. And I just kind of got it into my head that I need to do something with this, or else like, what's the point? I've got binders. I've got like a bucket full of loose papers and notebooks and things. And I just kind of was sitting there like on 5-hour energy and joints, and like, just, I got to do something with this. Like, it just was driving me crazy, you know, just sitting there and like not really doing anything with it when I had so much to say.
Oh yeah. Now this next question is one we ask it definitely early. We ask it often, and it's a crowd favorite for sure. Okay. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Ooh, my own money. Let's see. Man, I really got to think back on that. Gosh, I want to say, man, actually, okay, I really had to go back in my memory for this. I didn't really buy albums when I was in high school. I had a job at 13, mm-hmm. and I discovered Yahoo, like music videos, mm-hmm. and I wasn't really allowed to go and buy things for myself. I would buy food or like listen to music that other people had, but other than that, it was more just I had to listen to the music that was in the house. So like classic rock, 80s, country, mm-hmm. whatever my parents listened to. But I personally couldn't like go and buy CDs. I like it's really hard. Maybe we should pause this because I really need to like I really need to think about that. I didn't really buy any CDs in high school.
That's okay. I mean, what like even if it wasn't till that point, when like what was the first one you did buy?
And I think like when I was like 18, 19, I bought a Cypress Hill.
Okay.
There's Cypress Hill, Cottonmouth Kings.
At least you started with
Tech
good
Nine.
stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, which Tech Nine album?
can't remember. I have a really terrible memory.
Fair.
Like from high school, honestly. I just remember when I was 18, 19, I really got into that because of the people I was hanging out with, like the boyfriends that I had. You know?
No, I gotcha.
Yeah.
No, I gotcha.
Wasn't expecting that question.
No, you're totally fine. Well, maybe this one will be a little easier. What was the first like live show that you ever went to?
Oh, the first live show I ever went to? Spice Girls.
Okay.
When I was 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did anybody even perform with them, or was it just them?
I think it was just them.
Yeah.
From what I remember, and it was when they only had 4. It was after Ginger left.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, it was
so
wild.
Was it really even the Spice Girl? No, I'm kidding.
I had platform shoes, man. I had those platform. Yeah, Spice Girls. I remember that year, actually. It was Spice Girls, Backstreet Boys. I went to the All That concert, and it had 98 Degrees, Aaliyah.
Okay.
Like,
not a lot of people remember 98 Degrees. I do too. So it's nice to hear.
In sync, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, them and Backstreet Boys got all the popularity.
Yeah.
But we all know about 98 Degrees. Yeah.
We all know.
Yeah.
About 98 Degrees.
All right, let's go ahead and dive into you as the artist.
Okay.
And we're going to get the easy one out of the way. How'd you pick your name?
How did I pick my name? Interesting question. Wow, you got good ones. Callista is Greek, and I have a lot of different ethnicities to me, and one of them is not Greek. So I wanted to add into my, I guess, repertoire of like learning about the world. Because I found out I have a lot of different ethnicities. My half sister did a DNA test.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I knew it. Like about a bunch of them. But on that list, there was no like Greek or Mediterranean. And so I chose Callista because one, it just rang better to me than even my birth name. It just like rolls off the tongue better. It's beautiful. But also it includes some Greek culture that I have no idea about other than like obviously like mythology. Right. Yeah. So just for on a personal level, kind of just added to the list.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I like that. And then take us through your writing process, especially because you've already been, doing it for such a long time as one form. But like when it comes to putting a song together, like when you get inspired, obviously we'll check that box right now. What are some of the things that you do to kind of just get into the motions?
Ooh, I need some like alone time, usually like late at night or early in the morning. Sometimes when it hits, like if it's middle of the day and I find a beat, I'm like, cool, write it real fast. Awesome. Sometimes I'm taking dry erase marker to my windows and my mirrors. I have a lot of mirrors and windows in my place, and I will just fill them up. So some days I will just feel that overwhelmed with things that I need to write about or say, and it'll just come out. So I'll start there, and they're usually color coded. So if I have another thought, I'll start off on another color.
Oh, interesting.
And when I go back onto the mirrors to write everything down, that's how I organize it. So I have like a Google Doc that'll just be like blue ink, and it'll have everything written that was blue, and I'll go through everything in blue first.
Whoa.
And then go through and do everything in red next. Red is usually like hardship, pain, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Black is usually like talking ish about somebody. Green is usually like abundance, or like when I'm feeling good, or it's like a positive. Purple usually just goes off on the talking ish. I feel like purple and black kind of. So that's one set of the process, is like that, and then rewriting it all down, and then I'll find a beat later on. Like either I find the beat first, or I'll go through and be like, oh, I really want to write a song about that.
Okay.
Like, and then I'll piece it together. Other times, it'll just like come really fast. I'll like write something on my phone and be like, whoa, okay, this gotta go. This gotta go down. I need a beat, and it'll happen really fast. Sometimes the process is really fast. And sometimes I gotta take my time and fill up all the surfaces and just get it out of my head.
Yeah.
I don't know if any other artists have that
I mean, that
where it's just like overwhelming and you have to like write it down and then you can make it into a song.
I'm really stuck on that color coordination concept where it's like, instead of interrupting what you're writing to write something different somewhere else, you just write it, but in a way that you can like separate it later without having to think about it.
Yeah.
That's really smart.
And the dry erase, like, write faster with dry erase. So like I can just go with how fast my thoughts are going.
Yeah.
And then if I like, you know, ADHD, I just go straight into the next thing. I can, different color, you know? And like sometimes there'll be like waves or shapes. Like sometimes they'll have like a circle that goes all the way in. And usually that's just like, I don't know.
That's really interesting.
How it feels. I guess.
It's cool that you can express through your writing on like an almost like textile level. Like the fact that it's got an external aspect of expression, just aside from the words themselves. That's a really interesting like perspective.
Yeah, I guess so. And part of it makes me feel kind of safe in my home when I have my windows and mirrors covered. Like I feel like I've now put my energy on the walls of my home, and I feel almost safer now that I've gotten all of it out. Because a lot of it is sometimes just hard. It's hard stuff. It's stuff that maybe I won't talk about 75% of it with somebody. Yeah. But I got to get it out. You know,
that definitely seems to be a recurring benefit for, especially for vocalists in particular, just being like the especially for people like can't express themselves just like through spoken. That it seems to allow that outlet to happen a little more naturally. Yeah. Because it's just kind of an added current. So
totally, I think I can really relate to that actually, because I feel like when I'm in the moment, especially if somebody like is disrespectful or like hurtful or something, I can't say everything I want to say in that moment. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people relate to that, where like you think about it later on and you're like, man, I would have said this.
Good old hindsight.
Totally. So yeah, I guess when I fill up my mirrors and windows, it's like all the things I wish I would have said. Yeah. So I guess like a lot of my writing is saying the things I wish I would have said, you know? Yeah. Or the thoughts that I wish would have came out fast enough. Or maybe I'll never be able to tell those people those things. So I got to say it all in my writing.
True. Getting it out some way is always important. Why don't we go ahead and move on to the second part of that first question, which is still focused on the making of music. Like I was saying before, you have some new music coming out soon.
Yes.
And what were some of the things that decided like you were ready to like put it out? What were the things that decided it was like ready to share?
Oh, good question. Such a good question. And honestly, the reason why I was hyped to do the interview right now, it gets kind of deep. At the end of this month, I'm not going to give too much detail, but at the end of this month, I'm actually going to court against a family member. And let's just say I've been at war with my family since I was young. And that's a big reason that kept me from finding my voice. Right. But now I feel like what's happening at the end of this month is like a final battle, right? It's like the final battle of this war, and I will probably be free, you know what I mean, after this. And my first single, Gods, is kind of structured around finding myself through this hate and through the hurt and through the pain, and how to remind myself of who I am. And my second single that comes out on Halloween, called Schizophrenic, is just a minute and a half of me kind of calling my family out. So Gods is kind of like this forewarning. Schizophrenic is like, y'all, this is what's going on. But when I got the court date at the end of this month, I was like, I need to do it now. Like, now's the time. Like, on a personal level, it's not even about like anybody or who's going to see it or anything like that. It's strictly for me, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
That's time. No, that makes sense. That's a really powerful reason. I hear so many, just like being in the room, and, you know, not that it discredits anyone, but like there's always a different like presence in the answer when it's like rooted in something like that. And I think that's just like that's a really, you know, powerful thing to stand on. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear
Like
when it comes
making me
out.
shake.
Yeah. Now, I guess I can't ask that one next. We're going to jump to this next one, which is out of like all the shows you performed so far. Do you have like, have you done like a lot? Have you done a little? I know you said you were just kind of getting into it. How many have you done?
I think I'm at 7.
Okay. So you are getting
year.
into it. Which do you have like a favorite?
Oh,
Or maybe not like favorite, like this was the best one ever, but do you have one where like there was a moment that stood out to you?
Yes. I think the last 2 that I've done at Earth Lab Libations, GTube had been putting on these shows with a lot of artists, and I feel like the last 2, I just got really, really good reviews. You know, like a lot of people were really into it.
Nice.
And the last one in particular that I did, I brought my daughter with me.
Oh, exciting.
And she sang on the hooks for Gods because she's like memorized.
Yeah, she's definitely heard it a couple times.
She's definitely heard it a couple times. But she's like,
does she
really
get a producer
hyped.
credit on the album?
You're right. That's a good call. I should probably put a little like credit there. But she got to perform with me on a couple songs, and she was like my hype man.
That's awesome.
All the other songs that she was just like kicking it. She was dancing, going hard, and like everybody was cheering her on, and like people were cheering me on, and like we just got a lot of really good feedback, and that felt really good.
That's really cool.
It just felt really good, and I was like, yeah, I need her here with me like all the time. I mean, I already have to bring her with me everywhere.
Yeah.
Single mom, but the last 2 shows, I felt like I also like reached a pocket in my performance, you know, where I felt comfortable. I didn't feel like sweaty and like self-doubt and stuff. It's like, no, I'm finally reaching this comfortable pocket where I can like present my art. I can present my art in a way that I want to, and I'm proud of it, which is big.
No, that's awesome.
I'm proud of myself now.
That's awesome. And I mean, it especially in the beginning, like that, finding that spot, it can be tough at first, especially if it's like something that like parts of the process are really like aggravating or something you're not super comfortable with. But being able to pinpoint when it happened is kind of a special thing, because that means that like, you know, from that moment, that's where the upswing is.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Totally. And now I know how I need to feel.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's cool that she got to be there with you. You know, like that's a core memory. Like it's not often you get to pinpoint a child's core memory. So that's cool that you were able to give her that, and that she got to do that as well. You know what I mean? And
hold the mic and everything. Like you could tell she was like nervous at first, and everybody was cheering her on, and she just like went for it.
Kids are so malleable in that respect. So like when that kind of thing happens, like they're going to get over it so much faster than we would. Totally. Like especially if we like start now.
Totally.
So and especially if it's something she keeps doing, it's just something that's going to seem so comfortable, but by the time that it's like an aspect, it'll just seem second nature.
Yeah.
And so that's something really special as well, because that means as long as she enjoys doing it, she'll get to enjoy doing it with you and by herself. So she'll kind of always have that as a part of it.
Totally. And she already wants to do it by herself.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, when do I get to write my songs? Like, when can I perform my songs? I was like, girl, we need to work on it. And
you need to learn how to write.
Yeah, that too. But like, I'll sit down and listen to beats with her, you know, until her attention span goes or something like that. Like, we've started trying to get the process going, and she's totally into it. I took her to the studio recently for the first time and got her on the mic with the headphones too. And again, she's like nervous, but after about 10 minutes, she was like fine. And I was like, girl, it's taken me 5 years to get over, you know, but get over hearing myself in the headphones. Like,
yeah, but you also didn't have somebody to present it to you early. It sounds like, you know, music was kind of stifled for you in the beginning as far as like exploration goes. So
for sure,
in that respect, it's cool that you get to give that to her at such an early age, which is something you didn't really have.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why I'm doing it. I was like, well, if you're interested, we're doing it. we're doing it.
And that'll segue us into the last question for the artist focus portion. Now, this one is a bit of a denser question, but everybody has the answer in them for sure. And it's like music gives us a lot. When we do music, things happen because of it. But what is it about the process of making music that like matters the most to you? Like, what is like the single most part of it?
I think there's 2 parts. Like, I'm all about balance.
Mm-hmm.
because the first and most important part is that I do it for myself.
Mhm.
I am on this like healing journey in my healing era,
Mhm.
if you will, with all the stuff that's going on with my family. So I do have to do it for myself first,
Mhm.
because that is how I got through my childhood, was writing in the bathroom, writing by myself. Like that's how I got through stuff on my own. But on the second hand, it's when I have finished a song and it is like really deep. I've shown it to a couple people, like a couple friends, specifically like other women in the industry. I've shown a couple of songs to them, and I've made a couple girls cry from some songs, and that like I haven't released them. I've performed one of these songs a couple times or something like that, but it was that moment when I saw these two girls like have that reaction to this song that I was like, oh, that's why I'm doing it. It's like, yes,
Yeah.
I'm doing it for myself, but like, that's the reason that I have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, it'll help me along the way. That's awesome. But if I can help other people that have been through as much as I have, or even just a sliver, then like, I'm golden. Like that's good enough for me.
No, I love that. That's really powerful. All right, let's go ahead and let's move on to some hypothetical questions. Now, these are all literally sky's the limits. There are no wrong answers because the questions are all made up.
Cool. I'm a dreamer. Let's do this.
Yeah. Now, for this first one, if you could work with any artist who's currently alive, who would you pick and how would you work with them? And if it's a group, you have to pick a single member of the group.
Okay. All right. I mean, if we're talking about like hypothetical, like obviously like Doja Cat would be sick. I would love to work with Doja. I think she's just so unapologetically weird, and I'm unapologetically honest that I feel like the two combined would create something really cool. And I feel like I could learn a lot from her because she just does what the hell she wants. And I admire that. I aspire to be that when I grow up.
Hey, Doja Cat, if you ever want to be on the show.
Doja. Man, okay, this is kind of coming from a fangirl. G-Eazy.
Okay.
I would really like to work with G-Eazy. Putting that out there. Been following him since the beginning of his journey, and I just kind of appreciate his come up story.
Yeah.
Man, I kind of want to say Cardi, but like my style doesn't match her style very well. But that would be fun.
Hey, I mean, I think there's definitely benefits from working with people who are like outside of the normal realm of things, just because you never know what comes from it. And also, I think that people sometimes base the person's presentation on the presentation of the music. But you can get in a room with somebody and go, oh, wow, never thought of it that way. And like, you still come away with something.
Totally.
So any person who does music is a person to work with for music. At least still, you know that you don't want to work with them. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah. And then subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
Ooh. The Victoria Yabit, definitely on my radar. She's on everybody's radar. I just like her style. I like her content too. I think she's very business oriented. Mm-hmm. Is from what we see.
Yeah.
Oh. Talilo.
Okay.
I would.
Yeah.
I met him at like a show in like the spring. Met his wife and his kid. Adorable family. But I really love what he's doing for the culture. Like, I don't know why that didn't like pop out, but I guess Victoria Yabit's also like doing it for the culture too. They're both Filipino, but I like Talilo's style. He's real gangster with it. And I really want to put in some of my like Hawaiian background into my songs. So I think that'd be cool to like work with other people that are like, ethnically motivated, I guess, with their music.
Oh yeah. All right. And then, this next one's fun. Fun. If you could perform anywhere in the world, and not just venue, literally anywhere, sky's the limits. You wouldn't have to worry about power, crowd access, building stability, guaranteed best lineup, guaranteed best show. Where would you do it?
Dang, anywhere.
Anywhere.
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world.
Damn, I don't know. I want to say somewhere in Europe.
Okay.
I feel like their festivals are always lit and their crowds are kind of respectful in a way. You know?
Yeah.
Like something near water too. Like Ibiza maybe.
Okay.
Like Rio would be dope.
Yeah.
Like,
all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig that. All right. And then to wrap it all up, if you had to pick a completely different genre than any other style you've performed before, and if you've done like a mixed genre song or anything like that, those two are off the table.
Okay.
And you can't pick country or anything that's dominantly electronic. What would you pick?
Oh, rock.
Okay.
Yeah, like borderline like metal, like Godsmack, Metallica.
Oh, all right.
I would Heart. Ooh, I would totally get on a band.
Okay.
For sure.
And that's interesting. Godsmack seems like kind of a like out of pocket compared to some of the other names that you've listed. So it's cool to see that you have kind of a broad range of music.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I remembered that was actually one of the first albums I bought.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
cool.
was Faceless by Godsmack. And that album changed my life.
Hell yeah.
For sure. I have a very good background with rock and metal. That's actually like where my heart and soul was in high school, actually.
Same.
Still.
Same. Yeah, for the most part, I was in a metal band for most of high school.
Nice.
That's a fun little fact. All right, no, actually, I guess I was in like a post-hardcore band for most of high school, but I was in a metal band for the first year of it. There we go. Got to make sure everybody who watches the show who is in those bands knows that I said it correct.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and start wrapping this up. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what you have coming up, say, from November to February? Give us kind of the timeline of everything happening.
Okay. Can I actually start with next weekend?
Yeah.
Is that cool? Wait.
Depending on when this comes out, it may come out before that. We never know when these will come out. That's the fun. But yeah, you can start from wherever.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Halloween weekend, I've got 2 shows, the 27th and the 28th. Mm-hmm. Those will be lit. One's a costume contest.
Oh, exciting.
Cool. And my first 2 singles will be out by the end of the month. I'm actually hoping to lock down on November, December to get my album out by New Year's.
Nice.
That's my main goal, is to have like a good 6-7 song, maybe more, out by the end of December.
Oh, exciting.
That's like my big goal, man. That's like, I want to just like lock in and hustle.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Money.
And then for this next one, go ahead and look straight at the camera and tell everybody how they can find you.
Okay, yes. Instagram, Callista PDX, Callista PDX. And I don't have any music out, so you're just gonna have to watch the process and keep up.
Oh, yeah. Soon enough.
Soon enough.
Y'all should follow her now so that when it does happen, you're ready.
Yeah.
All right, and then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Oh gosh. See, I've been working with DJ Zone at Portland Underground. I just recently worked with Liquid Smoke in Eugene. My videographers are pretty lit too. That got my videos going.
Who are your videographers?
Nahele and Francisco out of Lens Stars. They're based out of Seattle, and the video that's coming out for my first song, Gods, they did the editing for that video.
Okay.
And another video coming out, I want to put that out in like December. Jane Marie, they did the whole thing of that video, and they're so good.
Yeah.
They're like my homies, my brothers.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Now we've got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second. As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know where they are, but you do. And I trust you. With that being said, final question. What is your guilty pleasure song?
Guilty. Put It on the Floor by Lotto.
Okay.
And Cardi.
Okay.
That is like, that's been my recent, like, if I'm feeling down, I put on the Feeling Myself playlist on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
But that song, I usually like click into that song. I don't know what it is. Like,
hey, that's all right. There's some songs that are just like that. Like for me, what was it? I Wish by Skilo.
Oh.
That song lives in my head rent free.
There you go.
It's just a bop. I don't care what anybody thinks about it. It's just always going to be there forever.
Perfect.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, we've reached the end. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Callista J.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap. This is not a podcast. This is a show. Keep jamming.